Alright, boys and girls, and welcome to Growing Guitar. We have Brett Young here with a song called Dance With You. So a great love song there. So yeah, let's dive into this one. No need for any cape on this. We'll work with chords, strumming, but also mostly with the pickings. But anyway, we need to learn the chords, so let's go over them first. We'll start with C, so that is third on A, second on D, open G, first B, and open E. We have G next, so that is third on E, second on A, open D, open G, open B, or third B, and then third E. You can go either with third or open here for the G when it comes to the B string there. And then we have the D. We have the open D, second G, third B, and second E. Next is E minor. That is open E, second A, second D, open G, open B, and open E. We have A minor 7. So open A, second D, open G, first B, and open E. Then we have this G B chord here, so that is second on A, open D, open G, third B, and open E. And then finally we have the B7. That's a bar chord, so you place a bar here on the second fret. You bar all strings except from the last E here in the bass, so 5 strings from bottom up. And then the rest will be 4th on D and 4th on B. So there we have the chords, guys. Let's take a look at this verse play, which is kind of the main play here. And we'll learn the pickings first. It goes here C, G, D, and E minor to start with. And then we have an ending, different ending later. But first C, G, D, and E minor. So we'll take it chord by chord. And this is where the pickings changes a little bit in the song. And I'm going to give you 2 different alternatives how to pick this. When it comes to the D and E minor. The C and G is pretty stable there, but if you listen to the song, it changes a little bit throughout the song here. But anyway, I'm going to give you 2 examples of it, and this is examples from the intro. Okay, so from the intro, and then it changes, of course, a little bit, but it's a great standard here to use for this song. So let's start with C first. It goes like this. So what you do here, you'll hold the chord as it is, and you pick the third A together with open G, first B, and open E. And then you just play the third B. So you need to add that one with a little pinky. And then comes the clap. That's the C. And then comes the G next. This is enough just to hold the third on the E string in the bass. You're going to pick that one together with open D, open G, and open B. And then just a clap. That's the G. Then we have the first version here of the D and E minor. So this first D and clap. So you hold the chord as it is and pick the open D together with second G, third B, and second E. Just from the chords, and then you get also this open E. So you need to release this from the second fret to just get it open. And then a clap. And then we have the E minor. Sounds like this. So what you do here, you hold just the third fret on the E string, the top string down here. And you're gonna pick that one together with the open B, open G, and open E in the bass. And then just a clap. So this D and E minor we just learned is the first version. The second version of it, if we go back to the D, you're gonna pick the same, the chords from the chord here, the open D together with second G, third B, and second E. In the same way, but the answering notes here is, again, the second fret E string here in the top string, so you don't have to move anything, you just give it an extra kick there and then a clap. And the second version of the E minor is to just pick everything open. So that is open E in the bass together with open G, open B, and open E top string. And then clap. So you can play alternative endings here. You can play the first version of D and E minor in the first round, and then the second round you can play the second version of it. So you will play 1.5 rounds, so to speak. That will be, or yeah, if we translate it into the different endings, it will be a total of 3 rounds. So C, G is the same in all these cases here. So play C, G, then D and E minor, the first version, then C, G, then D, E minor, the second version, and then you play the C, G, and D, and E minor first version. So you can go alternate there with the different endings. So a total of 3 rounds. It goes like this. So 3 rounds there. And then we have this ending here of the verse. It goes like this. Okay, so it starts with A minor 7. So pick the notes from that chord. You hold the chord as it is. You pick the open A together with second D, open G, and first B. And then clap. Then you go to the G, B chord and pick the same strings there. That gives us the second A together with open D, open G, and third B. And clap. And then we play the D. But we'll start the D with this position here. So that is the second G, third B, and third E. Okay, so not the second E, the third E. We'll start with this position. So you pick these 3 strings together with the open D. Then clap. Then you pick the third B and third E again. And then you go immediately to the second E and third B together. And then a clap. So the D here was to pick the strings from this grip here. The D, G, B, and E string. Then clap. Then you pick the third B together with third E. And then you go to the third B and second E. And then a clap. So that's the ending here after 3 rounds of the C, G, D, and E minor. So with the ending here, the A minor goes like this slowly. All right, so there you have the verse. Yes. All right, so let's go over to the chorus here. We will make this first with the pickings, and then I'm going to show how to play with the strumming pattern afterwards. But first, the pickings here. Now, let's take a look at the chorus. So you're going to play the same here for chorus. It goes in the same chords here for 2 rounds. So C, G, D, and E minor. So then on the 3rd round, it starts in the same way with C and G. And this is where the B7 comes in here. So when it comes to pickings, you're gonna pick this. So you hold the chord as it is, and then you're gonna pick the second A string together with second G, 4th B, and second E. So that is the last 3 strings here. Pick all these 4 strings together. And then you pick the E, B, and G string again. Same grip, and then a clap. And then you play the E minor here. This is the 3rd round when the B7 comes in. So E minor ends again. And then you're gonna play this, C and D. So you just pick the C as you do in the verse. And then a clap. And then D with a standard grip. And then a clap. That is kind of an ending of the chorus. And that is where you start to play the third round. You go with C, G in the same way. Then comes the B7 we just looked at, and then the E minor. So the B7 replaces the D. This is the third round. And then it has this ending with C and D. And then it's again C, G, D, and E minor. This theme picking here. So okay. So that is how the chorus ends. All right. So now let's go back again to the start here, because we want to learn to play this with a strumming pattern as well. So we're going to look at this strumming pattern. It's divided into two different parts. So we're going to look at the transition here from the C to G, the first two chords. Okay. So part one will be down, up, clap. And then you immediately change to G, and you play down, up, clap. So down, up, clap, down, up, clap. So part one is down, up, clap, and then part two is down, short pause there, up, clap. So couple rounds of it. So with this C, G, D, and E minor, you're just going to use the same pattern here for D to E minor. So D part one, E minor part two. One chord progression goes like this. Actually played two rounds there, but just for you to get the feeling of the rhythm and so. So that is how you're gonna handle the chords here. So if you look at the verse, you're gonna play, like I said, C, G, D, and E minor for 3 rounds. All right, and on the 4th round, so to speak, you had this ending here, the A minor 7, the G, B, and the D. So for the A minor 7, you're gonna play part 1, so the down, up, clap, and then you switch to the GB and play part 2, down, up, clap. And then you play the D 1 full round. So down, up, clap, down, up, clap. So 3 rounds of C, G, D, and E minor in the verse. And then on the 4th round, you're gonna play like this. A minor, part 1, GB part 2, and D 1 full round. So that is how I handle the verse. Now to the chorus. You're gonna continue in the same way here. So you're gonna play 2 full rounds of the C, G, D, and E minor. And then remember, on the 3rd round, we had this B7. So it just replaces the D. So you're gonna play the C, part 1, G, part 2. Then now B7, part 1, instead of D. And E minor, part 2. And then we had this ending here with the C and D. So you're just gonna play the C part 1 and D part 2. So I'm gonna play the 3rd round for you. It starts in the same way with C, G, and then it goes with B7, E minor, and then we had this ending with C part 1 and D part 2. Let's go. And then comes the instrumental parts. All right, then we have just one final thing here to go over. That's the bridge part, and it starts about 2 minutes and 2 seconds into the song. And we have the chords here. If we go for the strumming here, we'll play just with strumming, and that is what's happening in the song. So we're gonna play C, 1 full round. So 1 full round of C, then D part 1, G part 2, then A minor 7 part 1, GB part 1, and just 1 down on D. It's a little bit different back and forth here with the strumming, but to start with, C 1 full round, then D part 1, G part 2, then we have A minor 7 part 1 and GB part 1, and then just 1 down on D with a pause afterwards. So A minor part 1, GB part 1, and then D. That's how the bridge ends. I want to play this through for you, so it goes pretty fast. I just want to show you how it's done all in all. So let's start on C C 1 full round, D part 1, G part 2, A minor part 1, GB part 1, and D 1 down plus a pause. And it goes like this. And then comes the chorus. All right, so yeah, this is Britt Young's Dance With You, a great love song. So give it a try and get used to the chord progressions, and then you can play a bit with it like I just did, just from some freestyle playing there. Anyway, hope you enjoyed it. Play tuned.